Okay, looks like I'm live. Give me just a second. I will click this onto here-ish. Here we go. There, we're going to put that there, and hopefully it won't brush up too much. But anyway, hi. Welcome to my live stream. I'm Kelsey. I am your host. I will be drawing here in just a moment. For folks who do not know who I am, I'm a comic artist. I draw a weekly webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts. It is about a genderqueer pirate and their two best friends, treasure hunting in a land full of dragons. You can check out the webcomic through the link in the description. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. Ben will be coming, but he's going to be a bit late. Oh, thank you. I actually made this necklace myself. There were some beads that I saw at Michael's once, and I was like, oh, this would make a good necklace. So I got this in a chain, and I just put it together, and I love it. It's a nice little statement piece. I have matching clip-on earrings because my ears are not pierced anymore, but I'm not wearing clip-on earrings for obvious reasons. Yeah, so all of that is to say, I will be drawing today. I will be starting a new print because one of my goals for 2021 was to draw 5 large prints. To start with, though, I think I'm going to revisit a print that I had done in a previous live stream because I came up with an idea for how to do the backgrounds. So give me just 1 second. I will bring up the thing I'm talking about. There it is. And add to stream. I'm gonna work on this again because I came up with an idea for the background. I do need to get some reference images though. I was debating whether I wanted to leave this piece on just a simple background color like that, but then there was an environment that I saw that I was like, oh, this would make a really good backdrop for the last Valkyrie print that I did, so I'm gonna be doing that. I'm going to bring up a thing, though, because I need a reference image. I can't draw this from, like, the top of my head. Okay. I was blanking on the name for whatever reason. Okay. Okay. Wrong folder. I had to take a screen cap of the thing because it's from a video. Whoop. Okay. Just gonna pop this down to about here-ish. Yeah. Whoop. Yeah, I needed this as a reference for how the light hits the clouds. Clouds are one of those things that I want to get better at, and I just need to practice. There, saving my progress. It's very important to save your progress, kiddos. Hold on a second. Technology is doing something very, very funky. Okay. For some reason, my start bar just disappeared, and I was like, what? But we're okay. Oh, hi, Tim. Oh, my gosh. I haven't seen you around these parts in ages. How you doing? All right. Now for this, I want to actually group all this together. Okay. Oh, good. Glad I put my signature on there. Okay. I'm actually going to, because this background idea is a fairly new idea, I'm going to group all of the layers associated with it into a separate folder so that by the end of it, if I actually don't like how the background turns out, I can just turn that folder off and the background goes away. Thinking ahead. Okay. Let's get this. Here we go. Clouds might be one of those things that you don't necessarily draw, you just paint it. Oh boy, you're about to see me attempt to paint digitally, and painting is, I think, not one of my strong suits. So this will be exciting. Okay. Let's try an airbrush sort of thing. Oh God, I hate it. I hate it. Nope. Okay. I did do a pop-up event recently, last Saturday, actually. It was one of the reasons why I did not live stream last week, is because I was over in Cleveland, in the Lakewood, Ohio area in particular, to partake in a mini pop-up event hosted by the fine folks at Genghis Khan. The event went really, really well. There were actually a number of things that I sold out of. The stuff that I have left over, I have available now on my Ko-fi shop. I am moving away from Ko-fi. I'm moving away from Ko-fi to take two. I am moving away from Store Envy and moving my stuff over to Ko-fi, just so everything's all in one place. And also, Store Envy, there's not a lot of traction there for me. Ooh, I'm going to catch up on comments here. The sweetie and I are going to a Viking festival after lunch. Ooh, I hope you have fun with that. Happy little clouds. I try. Yeah, clouds are not my strong suit. I'm working on it. I like Lakewood. It's a nice little burb. It is, actually. It's exceptionally walkable. I like walkable neighborhoods. But yeah, Lakewood is really nice. I actually have a friend of mine who's based in that neck of the woods. Also, shout out to my fellow artist friend, Desi. I don't know if they're watching right now, but Desi helped design my new set of business cards and my postcards for Mr. Dino and Friends. I love how they turned out. Pictures are up on my Instagram, and my Instagram is on my link tree, linked in the description. Okay, let's get to, okay, so I got the shadows. MC, main color. Let's do something a little more like this. Ooh, I wonder what this is going to look like. Nope. I'm just experimenting at this point, but that was a whole lot of nope. You know, this isn't turning out half bad as long as you keep zoomed out. Okay, yeah. Kind of liking how this is turning out so far. Bigger. Yeah. I am liking this so far, actually. I wasn't sure how this was going to turn out, and so far, yeah. Actually, let's shrink that brush down a wee bit. There we go. Trying to think of stuff to like say, because I do have a lot to say at the same time. I don't know how personal I want to get. I will say, for the last couple of weeks, ever since I stopped working at Neverending, I realized, oh dang, I haven't really like taken a whole bunch of time off, like from work. So I took the last couple of weeks, not doing DoorDash or Instacart and just catching up on Kickstarter stuff and building a buffer backup for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, since it's still updating online. Doing that, I'm like, oh man, I really like just making comics full time. And at the same time, it's like, I do realize that I need to like get a part-time gig somewhere, because at least at the moment, I can't pay all of my bills as much as I would like to. So, but at the same time, it's like, I'm caught in like a weird wiggly place because I've been in this spot before where I want to freelance full time, but I also understand that I have a lot of student loans. I still need to get paid off. So, yeah, I'm going to catch up on comments really quick. The cards are adorable. Oh, thank you. Yeah, talking about the business cards and the Mr. Dino and Friends on Instagram. Yes, they are so cute. I love how they turned out. Shout out to Desi for designing those. Did you visit Cleveland Curiosities while in Lakewood? I did not. There were a couple of people who stopped by the venue and were talking about it. One of the artists actually went by Cleveland Curiosities and they got a beetle frozen in resin, and I thought that was really cool. It fit her aesthetic too, so that was really cool. Hi, JD. Good to see you. I'm so happy I didn't go the student loan route. You know, yeah. I'm glad that I got the grants that I did. That helped a lot. But I am still. I will say if I can make one more payment this week, I will finally have my student loans down below the 10,000 mark, which is like a big milestone for me. I'm really excited about that. Because when I graduated, I had like after interest 28,000 ish. But the last couple of years when I was working at Sheets, I was able to pay off a lot of those loans stupidly aggressively. There was just a lot of stuff that was, yeah, that interest is killer. But yeah, I still owe. If I can make one more payment, I will bring it back down under 10,000. But right now, it's about 10,000 that I still owe. Still figuring out a game plan. By my math, if I okay, that was weird. The internet did a thing where I just suddenly blipped off. That was odd. Let me just make sure that everything's okay. It says I'm connected now. That was weird. No idea what that was about. We must watch All Japan Wrestling later. We really should. Like, I would love to do more like simulcast streaming things with all of y'all and with my fans. I've actually been recording for a podcast that I'm now a part of, and we keep talking about like we're jokingly talking about doing things for Patreon supporters, even though we don't have a Patreon by any means. But we keep making clips of like, if you pledge this much, we'll do a live stream where we all watch this terrible movie together. One of those terrible movies is Camp Out with a K. It exists. It's marvelous. No, I must go. My planet needs me. I am assuming that was the direction that you were going with that quote. I was on your yes, I remember you were on my Patreon. I'm considering whether or not I want to open a Patreon back up because I love Ko-fi, I really do. But I also recognize that there were a lot of fans who only wanted to support me on Patreon. That said, if I did do Patreon again, there'd be a couple of things that would change. First being, because I deleted my page, I'm no longer grandfathered into having everything split up by tiers. So if I started a page back up, it would be more like a tip jar, almost, where people can pledge whatever they want to per month and they just get access to my Patreon blog. Even then, debating if I even want to go that route on Patreon and what I would even post on there. my first thought was maybe make it like a zine and sticker club, like I used to do way back in the day. Because then it would justify me making zines and stickers at the same time. I kind of need a functioning printer to do that. At the moment, my printer is busted, which I got to give a shout out to Bryce and Jessica. Thank you for contributing towards getting a new one. If you have the means and you can contribute to help me get a new printer scanner machine, there is a link in the description. You can go to Ko-fi or PayPal and help contribute that way. You can also go to Ko-fi and buy anything on my shop or get a commission. Every sale goes towards helping me get a new printer scanner machine. The one that I have right now is beyond my capability to fix, so I need a new one. Can it be repaired? The thing about this particular printer is that for some godforsaken reason, the manufacturer made it so that this printer does not have a static IP. So it cannot connect to my computer at all anymore. Not even with the right drivers, like downloaded onto my computer. Like, I don't know why the printer does this, but it just cannot connect to my computer, which is unfortunate. So I would like to get a machine that can actually communicate with my computer, and something that can actually print, and something that can actually scan. That'd be really nice. So yeah. There's just been a lot on my mind lately, and that's one of them. Is I would really just like to get a new printer scanner, one that doesn't take up so much space and one that actually works. Right now, the one that I have can't even talk to my computer, so I can't print anything. And I don't know how to like break into it to make it have a static IP address, because like there's kind of a way to do it, and I've tried it, and it didn't work. So that's where I'm at with that. Anyway, catching up on some other comments. Clouds are best painted, in my opinion. They really are. It just stinks because I suck at painting. Painting's one of those things that I do want to get better at, so I'm going to keep practicing. Speaking of, I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit and just get back to painting this. You know, I might get up another layer and start working with like an oil brush pen. Right now I'm working with the airbrush pen for obvious reasons. But I might try like a gouache or gouache brush tip. One of those. Thick paint, watercolor, realistic. I think realistic. Ooh, actually. Ooh, okay. I just changed the shading layer that I was just at to multiply. It actually turned out darker than I expected. Okay, well, we'll just leave it at normal. How much are you looking at for it? I actually went comparison shopping at Best Buy the other day, and there were 3 different models that I was looking at, all within the same price range, about $200 to $300. 2 of them that I was looking at were Canons. The third was an Epson. The Epson one that I was looking at had a 11 by 17 inch scanner bed. On the one hand, kind of want that. On the other hand, I haven't really needed to scan in anything that large for a little over a year now. So I don't think I need a scanner that big. And also, I live in an apartment. Floor space is kind of at a premium at the moment. So probably don't need a machine that has an 11 by 17 inch scanner bed because that takes up a lot of space. Are there any auction houses by you? I'd have to look. I don't know. Even though I've been up in this neighborhood for a little over a year, I'm still getting the hang of where everything is. There are garage sales happening. So I don't think I would be able to find any good like printers or anything at a garage sale, but you never know. But yeah. But yeah, I'm still like there were the 3 machines that I was looking at Best Buy, and I think those are the like best contenders at the moment. Kind of leaning more towards Canon, honestly. I've heard good things about Canon printers, and that's what my friend Chloe works with. Is she got a Canon printer recently, and she really likes it. And honestly, I would really like to get a nice photo printer so that I can do my own like limited print runs. Because again, if I got a new printer scanner machine, I may be able to start up a zine and sticker club again and run that off of Patreon if I wanted to. I'm still debating if I even want to do that, because I know that that's something that lots of other people do. That would just kind of be clogging the market at that rate. I don't know. There's just a lot to consider in regards to what I would use the printer scanner for, or even if I want to get back on Patreon again or anything like that. I would, in general, just really like a new printer scanner machine, one that preferably works without having to jerry-rig a weird technical loophole, because like there was a technical loophole that enabled me to use the machine that I have now, and then it broke, and now I can't get it to work, which is why I'm looking to get a new one. Never buy HP printers. Just throwing that out there. Never buy HP printers. Ooh. Okay, yeah. I have the Rough Wash. Wow, say that 5 times fast. Brush tip right now. It's making an interesting effect. Don't think it works for clouds though. So let's try a different one. Nope. Okay, so it's blending mode, multiply, texture, paper, texture density. I'm looking at the properties of the brush over here in this little box on the left in the middle. I'm thinking about just fiddling with this, seeing what happens. Before I fiddle with it anymore, though, I am going to duplicate this. Okay, there we go. That way, if I really want to get outrageous with this thing, then I can just do whatever I want. Brush size, ink. Oh, multiply blending. Anti-aliasing, I'm not worried about that so much. Okay. Brush tip. Okay, we'll keep that brush density at around 60. Stroke. Okay. Texture. Ooh. Okay, neat. We're not going to fiddle with that, I don't think. Watercolor edge? Watercolor edge. Let's bump it up to 3. It was at 2. Okay. I'm liking that. Not erase. No, I'm not worried about stabilization. Stabilization is, if you look at the little info bar at the bottom, it shows that like, oh, stabilization is when you draw a line, and if you draw it like really, really shaky, it corrects itself and makes it smoother. I'm not going to worry about that with this one. Some brushes, that's relevant, but not this one. Okay. Yep. Make the texture density 80 and see what that does. Can't really see what's going on with this thing. Oil paint? Nope. 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 It's a whole lot of nope. Wash blender? Oh, it just blends things, and I don't have anything to blend on that layer, so it's like not doing anything. Okay. Change the opacity of the layer, and boom, there we go. Okay, there must be something up about the what is it though? There's a technical term for this, and I don't recall what it is. The stroke, that's it. Okay, the stroke, it should, and yet it, okay. Just screwing around, finding out. Yay, Ben made it! Let's see. Ooh, make sure you solicit Best Buy Corp for an extra discount before you buy. I'm going to make a note of that, actually, because I like the way you think. I like discounts. Okay. Ben, I'm not late. You're late. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get back to painting a little with the clouds. Painting happy little clouds. Yeah, I can do without that layer, I think. I kind of want to call it here. Yeah, I think I want to call it here and just like leave it at where it's at right now. What do y'all think? Because like in the thumbnail view, looks really good. Let's see how it looks when we zoom in. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Let's see what happens when we blend stuff. Okay. I had to see what all the layers were. Oh, this is much better. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna blend a few things. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning towards just leaving it as is. Just about, yeah. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at least for now. I might revisit it later, but yeah, it's worth it. Saved my progress so far, and we'll save a copy of this. Just a second. I'm gonna make it pixel size, and I'm gonna shrink that down. Yeah. I always save two versions of a thing, a print-friendly version and a web-friendly version, because print, hold on a sec. There we go. Because print usually requires a higher dot per inch count than something that showcases on the web. Whenever you're looking at something that showcases on the web, you're usually looking at something that's like 72 dots per inch, but for print, you need it at like 300 minimum, depending on what it is that you're printing. If you're interested, I found the updated version of the printer I told you about, DM'd you the link. Ooh, good, thank you, I appreciate that. You said yours was an Epson. Maybe, yeah, because I was looking at Epsons and Canons for replacement printers. So yeah, just DM me the link for that and I will check it out. One sec. Today's liquids are water, and found this at the grocery store. It's chocolate and blueberry coffee. It's actually pretty good dark. Like, I didn't have to add any cream to it. But I am a sucker for blueberry stuff, so like those are the two things that, like, if you want to get on my good side, you just let me talk about those two things, blueberries and Dragon Ball. I prefer Epson's scanning software. The advanced version is pretty good. Ooh, that's good to know. Yeah, because like I haven't heard anything about Canon's scanning abilities, but if Epson can do a better job of scanning things than HP, I'm willing to jump on it. That said, I do know that Canon has really good print quality, and that is important to me too. Maybe a little bit more than scanning. The reason I would want a scanner is to scan in some sketches. I'll go ahead and show those off. That's why I shrank down the Clip Studio Paint window, because I've been drawing a lot more characters for that character compendium project that I mentioned in a previous live stream. I have a whole lot of them, like, tabbed. By the way, I got some more stickers for my sketchbook. Here is how it looks at the moment. A lot of the these over here are from a zine project that my friend Chloe was a part of. It was a Yuri on Ice fanzine, and we got like a ton of stickers because she was like, "They gave so many stickers. Here, have some." And I'm like, "Okay." So there's some of those there. The Arrested for Fish Crimes and also Murder is a reference to Loki, one of my favorite deities in Norse mythology. I have a bunch of stickers of Loki stuff, and the cats here are from Super Cats. They were one of the exhibitors at the pop-up event that I was part of last week. Let's see. I recommend using 300 DPI for screens as well. 72 DPI was the default on the internet for a long time, but ever since iPad started doing Retina displays, computers show 300 way better. That's true. And there's, now that broadband is more of a thing, higher res images do load faster. That's why with The Legend of Jamie Roberts, whenever I post it up online, I usually have the DPI set to 100 for that. It's higher than 72, but it's not so high that somebody could print copies of it. Yeah, HP printers are such ass. If you call tech support, their number one suggestion is to buy a new one. That sounds like HP. Yeah, unfortunately. Their laptops last a little bit longer, but, and I'm saying this, talking to you from the webcam of an HP computer, don't buy HP. I am fully saving up money as best as I can for the inevitable time that this computer shits the bed, because it's only a matter of time. HP computers don't last super duper long. The one that I had, there was one that I had that was my first ever laptop, and it lasted a couple of years, but then because of how the computer would like put itself to sleep, there were wires integrated with the motherboard that affected the that affected the screen and being able to see and interact with anything. The way to jerry-rig around that was I just got a separate monitor, and I started using that separate monitor to do things while working off of the keyboard of the laptop. And then eventually the motherboard fried. That's something that HP does. So I'm just waiting for the day. My patrons get cost paint at 600 DPI, but they go up on my website at 150 because Weebly screws with the size if you make it any bigger for some reason. Yeah, that's why I do WordPress. I've not had a whole lot of positive interaction with Weebly. I mean, I worked with Weebly at one point when I was kind of newish to the blogging scene, but WordPress is just better. In my opinion. But yeah, that's about where things are at. Anyway, I was going to show off some sketches of some characters for the character compendium, the project that I need a scanner for. There's some new ones. Let me find a new one. Ooh, this guy. I drew him during an episode of Critical Role. Yeah, get some light on this baby best as I can. Yeah, this guy, I really like how he came out with the details on the costume and everything, and the sword. I like swords with non-straight edges. He was a lot of fun to do. Also a tiefling. Tieflings, it's kind of a thing in TTRPG circles that, oh, are you playing a tiefling? You must be gay. Because like it's such a stereotype among like the LGBTQ players that they either play a tiefling or an ASMR, and it's to cope with religious trauma from their childhood. But I also drew this little baker lady because I started watching Into the Woods, the original Broadway production with Bernadette Peters as the witch. A+. It's available to watch on YouTube. Watch it. Do yourself a favor. It is so good. And especially if you watch all the way through Act 2. It came to my attention that there are high school productions of this play, but they stop at the end of Act 1, and then they never do Act 2. Most don't do Act 2. But Act 2 is where the good stuff happens, in my opinion. It took me a while to recognize that because I remember watching Into the Woods way, way back and then thinking, Act 2 is a little bit weird, but this is promising. And then I just kind of fell off the wagon for whatever reason. But I revisited it recently, and considering how very, very done I am with fairy tales, Into the Woods just hit the right spots. Ooh, another character for the character compendium. This guy, a blind half-orc bard, because half-orcs, I think, need more love. They're my preferred lineage to pick whenever I play a D&D character. Just half-orcs are fun. I like playing with the stereotypes because a lot of people, there was a meme that was like, broke half-orc barbarian grr, I punch things. And woke was something that I did with a half-orc druid that I made, Ollie, which was like, hey man, just don't mess with my vibe. I'm just here to have a good time. Let me do my thing. I love Ollie so much. I also have this guy because I wanted to draw a chubby black knight. And yeah, I love it. Playing off type in D&D is the best. It is. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. But yeah, I wanted to draw this guy because I was flipping through some old sketchbooks and I saw that I had some concepts for Black Knights before, and then I was like, what if this but chubby? And I mostly thought that because I was thinking of an old caricature buddy of mine, Clarence, who he's a big dude and he's black, and he also participates in like the Renaissance LARPing stuff, which is like, yes, all of those things. And I wanted to draw somebody as like an homage to him. Ooh, this was another character that I was flipping through some sketchbooks and I went, how about I combine some things? This sorceress lady, yes. Yes, I wanted her to have the pitch black eyes because there was a sketch that I really liked how the pitch black eyes looked in that sketch. And I went, I'll replicate it. And then the border designs were from a different sketch. And I went, yes. So we got this lady here. I feel like there's another one. Let me look. Nope, I fibbed. That was the last character sketch so far. I have enough sketches in this sketchbook of characters for the character compendium that I could make a zine out of them if I had a functioning scanner printer. If you have the means and you can help contribute towards that, link in the description. There's PayPal, there's Ko-fi. Anyway, I've ranted enough about scanner printer machine. Let's talk about something positive. I actually have something available for pre-order now, which is Dragon Baby Keychains. This is one of those things I'm going to bring it up on a share screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. There it is. Okay. I had to find it in the right folder. This little baby is going to be available as a keychain soon. I put the first print run request in. I'm doing a print run of 10 first. keychain is going to be 2 inches square, or it'll fit in a 2-inch square. One side is 2 inches, the other one's a twee bit shorter. But it's going to be on acrylic. It's going to be an acrylic keychain, one-sided. It's going to have a clear clasp and 1 silver key ring. It's small, but this little dragon can help protect your little key stash and, you know, protect your hoard. It's also cute. It's a dragon baby. How could you go wrong? Pre-orders are now available. Link in the description if you would like to get one. I'm doing a limited print run of 10 of these for the first run. After that, we'll see, but they will be shipping out after July 7th. And July 7th, I think, is like in a week. A week and a half to fortnight, technically. Yeah, round about a fortnight. So, like, yeah, you have about a week and a half to ponder and jump on the pre-orders. Link in the description. They will ship out July 7th. They're little, but they're cute. And I'm so glad that I was able to find a printer who could do these. They are acrylic, and like I said, they're one-sided, but, you know, they're cute. I mean, look, guys, so cute. But yeah, those are available for pre-order now. If this goes well, I may do more keychains with more dragon babies, because I love doing dragon babies, like drawing the dragon babies. Dragon babies are so cute. I agree, Jessica. So adorable. Yes, I love it. Okay, now there's a few different large prints that I had ideas for. I was going to say I was going to put this up for a vote. So let me know, would you like to see me work on a fighting game character lineup or some characters from the same story as the Valkyrie that you just saw? So would you like to see a fighting game lineup or more characters connected to the Valkyrie? Let me know in the comments, because I could go either way. I'll let you vote. I'm going to sip my coffee. Well, we got one vote. I'll just bring this up again because I still have that Dragon Baby Keychain banner going. I'll just show this off for folks who are watching this after the live stream ends, because this will get archived on YouTube after the live stream wraps up. One day soon, I hope, I'll get back to a point where I can simultaneously stream on YouTube and Twitch. Today is not that day. Okay, so that's 2 votes for fighting game. Good, I like the way that y'all think. We're going to do the fighting game lineup then. Okay. So, I can tell you right now who one character in the fighting game lineup is going to be. I'll bring her up now, and I'll talk a little bit more about the fighting game idea that I have. I gotta find it first. So 1 sec. Ha! There it is. Okay. Well, for folks who are regular comic fans of mine, you may recognize her as Charlie from my Charlie and Cloud comic series. Like, heck yeah, I love drawing her to bits. Like, she's just so much fun. So, Charlie is one of the characters that I would like to feature in my fighting game lineup, because heck yeah. She knows martial arts. Why not? So the fighting game lineup that I have in mind is, there was one time that I was just like daydreaming, as you do. I just saw a question pop up, so let me just address that really quick. I know you're into Dragon Ball FighterZ, but do you play any others? So my introduction to fighting games was actually a PlayStation game called Evil Zone. Most people have no idea what this game is. I feel like I've talked about this in a previous live stream before, but I'll talk about it again. Evil Zone was a Japanese fighting game for the PlayStation 1 that it had the simplest control setup of any fighting game that I have ever encountered. And this is saying something considering how fairly easy Dragon Ball FighterZ is to catch on to. The thing about Dragon Ball FighterZ is that for the most part, everybody has the same command inputs. There's some variation depending on the character for their special attacks. And while there are character inputs that are kind of universal, how they pan out can vary from character to character. Like smashing the circle button 3 times activates a heavy attack, but everybody's heavy looks different. That sort of thing. Fairly intuitive, fairly easy as far as fighting game commands go. But there was a game that was actually even simpler than that, and that was Evil Zone. And Evil Zone, unfortunately, didn't really catch on super duper well, probably because of the simple control setup, and also because it was not translated super well. Like, this was the era where translating from Japanese into English resulted in a lot of, like, the characters would stop talking, but the lip flaps would still keep going. It was that era of translating, which is hilarious to me. Reminds me of this anime that I grew up with, The Secret of the Seal, that had a lot of the same problem, where like the character would stop talking, but the lip flaps would just keep going, or stuff like that. Like, it was that era. The Evil Zone, the commands for that, super easy. Like, each face button, X, circle, square, triangle, had a different corresponding attack, and when you combined that key with a particular directional input, it gave you different attacks for each character. And if you did a certain combination 3 times, it gave you the super version of that attack. The story mode for that, the story for Evil Zone was basically, there's a sorceress locked away in a parallel dimension. We need to run a tournament to determine who is the strongest among you to go into this parallel universe and kill this sorcerer. That's it. That's the premise of Evil Zone. Look up the art. I'm pretty sure you can find it on the Google or DuckDuckGo. I'm just going to type in. Okay, yeah, cool. I'm going to share the screen so that you can see the art for this. Because this was my teenagehood. So we're going to share. Let's see. Can I share? I would like to share. It would be great if I could share this stuff. Okay, it's gonna do a thing. Share screen. Okay, it's gonna be weird for a second. Bear with me. Boom! I just typed in Evil Zone on my search. This was the fighting game anime that I grew up with. Yeah. I wish I could tell you all of the characters' names. I know that this redhead over here is Midori. This purple-haired son of a gun over here was a character that, for some weird reason, talked in like a super high-pitched baby voice until suddenly you caught her off guard, and then she spoke in a really low, mature voice. And it's like, why the tone change, madam? Who knows? This was the screen that unlocked when you completed the game 100%, which I did that. And there was also there was a strange little like audio drama that played over top of this where all the characters got to interact with each other. This teal-haired lady over here was the sorceress in question that you were tasked with killing at the end of each story mode round. I don't remember the full context for this, but she was friends with this purple-haired priestess. I don't remember the full context of the story, but that happened. That was a thing. This Japanese schoolgirl right here in the middle-ish had a ghost possess her on occasion, and that's this girl in the pink in the back. Yeah, everybody in this fighting game had different like combat techniques. This blonde-haired girl in the very front, her armor was sentient. It growled when she did particular moves. This guy over on the left, kind of in the middle, shaking hands with his suit of armor. He's the pilot. He's the pilot for that suit of armor. His story mode was hilarious because he was like flirting with his two lady sidekicks who were helping him in the story mode, and then they both caught on to what was going on and they beat the crap out of him at the end of the story mode. It's great. Oh my gosh. It looks like a weapon fighter. They're more complicated than you describe it. Did you ever try the Soul Calibur or Samurai Showdown games? There was one time that I tried Soul Calibur. It was the GameCube version that had Link as a playable character. That was Soul Calibur 2, because Soul Calibur 2 had the GameCube version where one of the unlockable characters was Link, and then they had a PlayStation version where one of the unlockable characters was somebody from Street Fighter, I think. Oh, it's been a while since I played that, but I did try Soul Calibur once, and I don't remember much about it to really say. I enjoy this art style too. It rubbed off on me. But you know, I'll bring it up again just to talk about this guy. Yeah, Hitaichi from Tekken. That was the other unlockable character. So the character that I was like singularly obsessed with whenever I was a wee teen was this guy all the way on the left with the mohawk. He had a sentient sword that would talk to him, very much like a hex blade in D&D. But he was this like crusty punk rocker who had this like the Devil's brand tattooed on his chest, and it was a thing. It was very much a thing. Reason that he is like shoving this other dude is because this other dude that he's shoving is like a magic practitioner who is very much against that sort of magic. So yeah. But yeah, I dig this art style. This was something that I grew up with. Like, yeah. And then there is this sorceress. She was pretty cool. I don't think you got to like unlock her as a playable character at the end of the game, which, come to think of it, that should have been a thing. Like, you should have been able to unlock her as a playable character at the end of the game. And yet, no. Also, there was a AMV that played before the game properly started. You could skip it if you wanted to. But yeah, this is a shot from that AMV, and yeah, ridiculous boob physics galore. But yeah, this character's armor was sentient. It growled. It was a thing. Also, she was dating this little blue-haired boy, who is a wizard. Yeah, so like everybody had different kind of abilities depending on the command inputs that you put in. Some had sentient armor, some had motherfucking lightsabers and pistols, some had psychic powers, some had swords and ghosts, stuff like that. Like, it was a fun game. Soul Calibur 2 was one of my first fighters, and it was a lot of people's first fighters. The Xbox version had Spawn. That's funny to me. Yep. The next game probably would have had her as a powered down PC, pretty standard for a lot of fighters. If there was a sequel to Evil Zone, it never got released stateside, which is unfortunate because Evil Zone was fun. Referencing the devil mark on her chests. Like we all have. I was wondering why you posted that. Yeah, we all have devil's marks on our chests. By the way, I got to watching the Vox Machina versus the Mighty Nine one-shot from Critical Role. Talking about Devil's Brand tattoos on your chest. That was something Molly Mock did to one of the characters. It was great. Soul Blade was my jam. Never played Soul Blade, but I'm going to have to give it a try sometime. But yeah, I'm familiar-ish with fighters, but the thing with me in fighters is that there is often a long lull between when I pick up one game and when I pick up another one. So, like, it was many, many years between my playing Evil Zone and then me playing any of the Dragon Ball games. The first Dragon Ball fighting game that I played was Budokai 3. But Budokai 3, for me at the time, I was like, the command inputs are way more complicated than Evil Zone. I'm not interested in this. So I just did not pick it up again. Looking back on it, it's like, but the commands are fairly simple once you get the hang of everything, but they're individual to each character. So, like, to do the Kamehameha for Goku is one set of inputs, but if you want to do a Kamehameha through Krillin, it was a different set of inputs. It was odd. That's not so much the case in Dragon Ball Fighters. I believe the Kamehameha is just one set of commands between, like, oh god, I'm trying to remember how many characters even know that, because it's not just Goku. There's Goku, Krillin, Yamcha actually knows it. Cell knows it. Gohan knows it. The super powered version, the non-pose version of the Kamehameha is actually a special move that teenage Gohan can do. Yeah, there's just a lot of characters in Dragon Ball Fighters that know how to do the Kamehameha, especially since Master Roshi got added as a player character. I want to play him so bad, but he is also, like, fairly technical compared to the other characters because he can't fly. So there's little workarounds that he does. It's great. All right, we're going to get back to drawing because I've talked about fighting games enough. Charlie here is one of the characters that I wanted to include in my fighting game roster because for anybody who's read any of my Charlie and Cloud comics, which you can read at charlieandcloud.com, link in my link tree down in the description, you would know that Charlie is a fighter. Like, that's her expertise. She is a fighter, particularly martial arts. So I wanted her in this fighting game lineup for obvious reasons. But there was a time when I was just daydreaming and I was thinking to myself, you know, there's a lot of fighting game lineups that, granted, because they're made in Japan, most of the characters are Japanese or white adjacent. What if there was a character lineup for a fighting game of all black characters? So that is my fighting game lineup project. That said, I do want to do a little bit more research for not just different, but also costume choices. I do know that there was a black samurai because I feel like kind of everybody knows that. So I might work on him next. For this fighting game character lineup, I'm going to draw the characters individually, kind of like what I did with Charlie here, just so I can get, like, a good idea of their costumes and how they look and all of that before I start the poster that puts them all together. I have an idea for the poster that will put them all together. For anyone with PS4 or PS5, Virtua Fighter 5 is free to play right now. It's not the easiest starter fighter, but it's extremely well built and deserves more attention. Maybe. Because I still have a PS4. I'm not interested in getting a PS5. It took me ages to save up to get a PS4, so I'm not going to replace it anytime soon. And I'm also going to wait until the PS5 has more games for it. But right now, the PS4 can serve me perfectly fine. I still have a PS2 that works. The PS2s are fucking tanks. Oh, hey, Delos seconded your vote, Ben. There you go. You two can, like, swap usernames and fight each other in that game. I don't know. Do what you want to do. Sorry, 1 sec. I'm probably just a mic nightmare right now while I'm correcting this necklace. If you get VS5, let me know. We can battle. Awesome. To battle my friend Jazz in Dragon Ball FighterZ. We've been talking about it for ages. Oh. I'm going to give it a sec. Wi-Fi is having a hiccup again. Okay. There. Wi-Fi was having a hiccup, but we should be okay now. Whew. Okay. There we go. Start up a new document. Okay. I'm going to start drawing the samurai character, but I'm going to need to look up some visual references. There's apparently some movies about this black samurai, Yasuke. His name was Yasuke, apparently. Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to feature a samurai for the fighting game lineup was because of Yasuke. I was like, this guy needs to be featured. I'm surprised that he's not been featured in a fighting game thus far. Apparently, Time did an article about this guy. served under Oda Nobunaga, one of the most important feudal lords in Japanese history and a unifier of the country. He's also the inspiration for Netflix's new anime series, Yasuke, a project from creator and director LaShawn Thomas and the Japanese animation studio MAPPA. Executive produced by Lakeith Stanfield, who voices Yasuke, and Flying Lotus, who produces the soundtrack. Huh. Neat. Alrighty, let's get the references that I found and get them up on Clip Studio real quick. Ah, there it is. Okay. Here's one. This is from a statue, I believe, because there were a couple of shots similar to this that came from a statue of the guy. Okay, we're going to X that out, and we're going to move this over here.
Oh, bless you. Bree, did you sneeze into your water fountain?
Sometimes I wonder about this cat. I bet he if that series had continued. I have no idea what World Heroes is, but probably. Let's shoot. I take it you know him? Okay, we're gonna make the pencil green to help it pop the background. Oh. Yep, just confirmed. Netflix has an anime called Yasuke and is based on this guy. Yep. World Heroes was a fighting game where the characters were all based on historical figures. Jeanne d'Arc, Rasputin, etc. You know, I can't hear Rasputin without thinking of rah rah Rasputin, Russia's greatest yeet machine. He also worked on the Boondocks. Gotcha. Okay, so that's why you were like LaShawn, because yeah, there is a strong intersection of you know, the Black community being fans of anime, and I know this because there's a lot of people who are fans of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z who are in the Black community and who are people of color. And I'm just like, yes, I am here for this. Of course, that comes with its own struggles, and I can't speak on those, but there's plenty of people on TikTok who have talked about it, who have experienced it. Oh, Bree. Don't. I saw her looking at the wall, looking like, maybe I scratch, and I'm like, don't you dare. Oh, booger. But yeah, knowing that there was a guy in real life who served under Nobunaga, it's pretty freaking cool. Put that up a little bit. I will say, since I started sketching digitally, it's definitely a different experience sketching in a sketchbook now. I can see now why there are some artists who drawing traditionally anymore. They will sketch digitally and then do a printout of the sketch and then just ink on top of that. I get why that's a thing now. I don't know if I would ever do it, but I get why it's a thing. Was he the guy who made Cannon Busters? Because that show needs to come back. I don't even know what Cannon Busters is. I'm going to Google that real quick. Cannon Busters is an American fantasy comic book series by LaShawn Thomas. An original anime series was by Statelight and Yumeda Company, was released on Netflix on August 15th, 2019. There you go. I'm going to have to watch Cannon Busters. I'm looking at the art right now, and oh my god, this is right up my alley. I need to watch it. Here we go. Okay, it's sort of that angle. It would make more sense if the arm over here was situated kind of over here-ish. This is rougher than the usual pencils that I do because I just want to get the gesture right. But yeah, as far as the fighting game lineup goes, I wanted to feature Charlie, wanted to feature Yasuke, because both of them are cool. But I also wanted to feature at least one magical girl. And I have a magical girl in mind. There was a series that I did way back in the day of sketches of magical girls and girls with other powers. And there were a couple of them that I'm like, maybe I can incorporate them into this character lineup. Just gonna catch up on comics. Oh yeah, everybody's just talking about Cannon Busters. Ooh, if Sasuke served under Nobunaga, would that have made him a contemporary of William Adams, the real-life guy that Shogun was based on? I don't know. History is weird. I wouldn't put it past it to have that be a thing. Also, there's a lot of videos describing the influence of anime and black culture, which is similar to Asian kung fu flicks influence in the past. Sounds about right. There was one. Oh, when I was looking up Black Samurai, apparently that was a blaxploitation film back in the 70s also. That was one of the first results that popped up. Yasuke was like the second result that popped up. So like action flicks and black culture, there's definitely an intersection there. I just love doing character art, yo. Like, I really do. I might need to shrink this sketch down a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to shrink the sketch down a little bit. Not by too much. I think that much will do just fine. Just for one thing, the helmet. For another thing, the foot. So let's draw that foot real fast. You know what? Shout it out in the chat. If I started a Patreon back up for the purposes of a sticker and zine subscription club, would you be interested in that? Shout out in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'll only do it if there's enough of a demand for it. Oh, Brooper's got a bad case of the zoomies.
Yes, I'm talking about you.
Even with my headphones, I can hear the. Well, there's one vote of probably regarding the Patreon subscription service. And I mean, I back you on Patreon, whatever you did. I don't know. I want to keep Ko-fi up at the same time because I really do enjoy Ko-fi. And for the folks who do back me on Ko-fi, those are the people who they were the first to back on Patreon, but they joined me on Ko-fi because Patreon kept dropping their pledges for whatever reason. I don't know why. So like Patreon would be more for the people who did not follow me on Ko-fi for whatever reason, but only support artists on Patreon. That's the only reason that I would consider doing a Patreon page. I would keep Ko-fi going, and Ko-fi would be like my preferred place to post up works in progress of like The Legend of Jamie Roberts and my other stuff. Ko-fi also kind of works as a weird social media outlet for some reason. It's just a handy way to like post pictures and whatnot. But Patreon does lend itself more to subscription services for folks who want to do like. Hold on 1 second. This necklace, man. Okay, but like Patreon does lend itself better to subscription service type things. I remember seeing Squarespace as a way of setting up a monthly subscription for products like Tea of the Month or Sticker of the Month. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, that's another thing that I was looking at too, was looking at other online shops. Like, I was actually talking with a prospective client. I'm going to keep the exact details of this conversation like between us, but we were looking at Shopify and a few other places. And also Printful has a print-on-demand service. And Printful does integrate with Shopify. So if I wanted to do just a almost like Redbubble, but on a wider variety of products, that's an option too. I've considered getting a Shopify because I've seen some other artists actually do really well with Shopify. And I do have fantasyvilleproductions.com like on lock. So I could open up a Shopify store on Fantasyville Productions and do a Shopify store that way. But Shopify can let you do print-on-demand stuff or run your own inventory. I would probably be doing my own inventory because I have a lot of stuff of my own, primarily from conventions, but that's a lot. However, Shopify is not free. That's the only reason I have not made the switch. Because right now I'm bootstrapping it. And one of the reasons I'm switching from Store Envy to Ko-fi is because A, Ko-fi's right there. B, Store Envy keeps trying to upsell me on stuff. I'm too broke for that. So just nah. Yeah, I'm still mulling over online store ideas. And there is a way to do like subscription service stuff through other means outside of Patreon. So I'm thinking about it. This is a new thing that I'm thinking about. I haven't given too much thought on a subscription service until like yesterday. So at this point, I'm pretty flexible. But I'm always looking for ways to like branch out and do new stuff, because the more that I can like keep making art and make a living that way, the less that I would need to like take up a part-time job elsewhere. I gotta check out, but good stream. Well, thank you, Ben. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, there's just been a lot on my mind and a lot that I've been thinking about regarding like ways to get my art out there and ways that I can keep doing what I'm doing without needing to take a part-time job elsewhere. But odds are pretty high I'm going to have to take a part-time job elsewhere. For a couple of weeks after I left Neverending, I was doing DoorDash to like cover the gaps. I would rather not do DoorDash for a part-time gig or even a full-time gig. That just wears out the car really fast. It also wears me out. Like, it just takes a lot of focus to drive anymore. Like, if I'm on my way to a convention, that's one thing. If I'm on my way to like dropping off orders that people keep requesting, that's another thing. And that's a very different vibe. Okay, that's weird. I'm probably going to wrap up the stream because there's been a lot of technical hiccups, which is odd. Yeah, this has been an odd stream, I think. It's just been a lot of hopping back and forth between conversation pieces and not a whole lot of like drawing stuff, I think. So I would like to apologize for the oddness that is this stream. But yeah, I've been looking at what I can do outside of DoorDash. Anybody knows anybody looking for an artist for a project who can pay, shout it out and let me know. Carlos, I'm trying to make sense of your comment here. DM video on your Instagram, Squarespace subscription. Is this like an integration that Squarespace can do where you can, or I need you to explain, like the words are not clicking in my brain for whatever reason. Yeah. One of the reasons I have not done a Squarespace website yet, though, is because most of my domain registrations are through an outside place. They're not through Squarespace. Like, I have them registered through another service, not GoDaddy. For throwing that out there, I don't have them registered through GoDaddy. But yeah, my domain registrations are through a different service, and the service that I use can enable one-click install WordPress installation, which is what I had been doing for most of the websites that I run. And honestly, WordPress works fine for the most part. It does not make a good online store. I will say that now. Didn't really work super well. Largely because I don't think the online store really understands how shipping works. It was a massive pain in the ass to try to configure that. For folks who are like, for folks who have been following me for a while, there was a window where I did have a online store that was powered by WordPress. It did not work super great, and I ended up switching back over to Store Envy. But now Ko-fi has a shop feature. I really like Ko-fi's shop feature. It's very clean. It's also like, it understands that shipping is a thing, and I can select what countries I ship to, which is really nice. Right now, Ko-fi, the stuff, if you order it through my Ko-fi shop, right now it only ships to the US. There's some products that can ship to the UK, but not all of them. Oh, I follow your comment now. Squarespace has a submodel you can use. I sent the video of someone trying it on your Instagram. That makes more sense. Thank you for clarifying. This has been a really fun, eclectic stream. Good. I'm glad you're having fun. I could talk about this kind of the kind of behind the scenes stuff like all day. Because like I do love giving the facade of, hey, I get to draw all the time, but it's not always drawing all the time. Okay. I was a bit concerned that this arm was too short, or this part of the arm short, like right in here, but I think it works. I'm so glad for this mirroring tool in Clip Studio Paint. It has made life so much easier. Okay. We see opacity on that, and we're going to have features like eyes drawn in a different layer with a different color. This is why I usually draw the nose first rather than the eyes first, because drawing the nose gives me an idea of the orientation of the face. And then that can give me an idea of how I would draw the eyes. Look at some of the references here. Okay. I'll do the costume pencils in the red since the base figure is green. It helps to know your color wheel. That is a complement of green. These are like super rough pencils. They're not going to be like super detailed yet. We'll get there. Okay. I don't know if this has ever been pointed out by anybody yet, but looking at this and looking at some of the ancient art of like the Roman legionnaires' armor, it just occurred to me that like samurai armor and Roman legionnaire armor have a lot of interlocking leather plates. Wonder if anybody else noticed that. I don't really have a reference that shows me the back of the head. I could listen to you talk about anything all day. I'm a rambler, so I'm glad. I've noticed stuff like that here and there. It's a fairly obvious design when you think about it, like a slate or terracotta roof. Yeah. Talking about armor and terracotta, I was thinking about the Chinese statues of well, like the emperors who get buried with like terracotta soldiers, and the terracotta soldiers have the like interlocked plate armor and the leather plate armor. That's just where my mind went. I will probably be streaming for another 10-ish minutes, and then I'll wrap it up. But yay, I'm glad that I'm not boring at least. Taking a look at, okay. Just taking a look at some of the armor breakdown here. Again, simple shapes. Not doing anything too detailed yet. Just want to get the general idea down before I did anything else. Nope. Didn't mean to draw the reference image. Oopsie doodle. For folks who might be curious about when I was looking at chapter 2 of The Legend of Jamie Roberts, and there might be people who are like, what's the inspiration for the armor choices here? The inspiration was largely off of Viking and Scottish Gaelic armors. Because I was looking at a lot of those, and also simplifying samurai armor and just like plate armor in general, and being like, how can we simplify it and make it out of leather? And that was a lot of the armor choices for chapter 2 of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Because in chapter 2, Ragun Basha regales the story about the Dragoon Trois, which was a war that he fought in, or the War of Succession. Because the reason why there was a war back in the day was because one Ragun wanted to rule over everybody almost like a tyrant. The rest were like, we kind of like being individual city-states, actually, working under one banner, but keeping separate. And so they got into a fight about it to determine who was right. I hesitate to use the word confederacy, even though technically that's kind of the right word. I hesitate to use the word confederacy because of Confederate South of the Civil War. Because the Confederate South, they had particular ideas for when they were fighting and why they fought in the Civil War, the reasons for which I don't endorse. I don't think very many people endorse it, and I'm pretty sure most people watching this stream don't endorse what the Confederacy was fighting for. But because of that mental association, I hesitate to call anything a confederacy anymore. So the better analog that I had in mind for how Korath structured itself after the Ragun Dwa is more like ancient Greece. Not so much like the Malian Empire. Malian Empire was like, yes, there is a central city-state, and that central city-state is in charge of everything else outside of it. That's kind of how the Mali Empire was structured. But with the Greek city-states, with the exception of Athens, because Athens really wanted to structure itself more like the Malian Empire, where it was a central city and everything else like served it. And then Sparta and several other cities were like, no. But no, Korath in The Legend of Jamie Roberts is a little bit more like the Greek city-states, but actually cool with being separate city-states and not wanting to like have one city take over another one. There we go. General shape. And okay. Oh, by the way, I couldn't make this super clear earlier. If you have the means to, and you contribute towards a new printer scanner machine, I'll make you a thank you cat. Because I like to make thank you cats. And what do I mean by thank you cat? I will show you. Here we go. This is what I mean by thank you cat. I'll make you one of these if you help contribute towards a new printer scanner that I could work with. I will make you one of these. Here's one that I made for Bryce, who helped contribute, and Jessica also helped contribute. Here's the little thank you cat that I made for her. Thank you. I like to show my thanks to peeps. So yeah, if you have the means to. If you're broke, share this stream and the links to contribute with folks who do have the means. Oh, it's been a hot minute since I talked about the fighting game lineup. So, for the fighting game lineup, I want Charlie, martial artist. I want Yasuke, the Black Samurai. I want at least one magical girl. At least one. So, like one magical girl, a sorceress, and I'm thinking a Beastmaster, because then that way the Beastmaster can have a summons. And I was mostly inspired by, there's a character in Guilty Gear that has like a shadow creature summons, which is really cool. Do you have a grappler in mind? I should make notes. Because there's one dude that I could make a boxer. So like we could have a boxer wrestler type. Come on, pen, work with me. There we go. So we need a grappler, a magical girl, a Beastmaster, a boxer. I want to try to keep the character roster kind of smallish. I don't want to overload the thing with too many characters. So I think with those four that I just listed off, Charlie and Yasuke, that's a character roster of 6. I can keep it to about there or bump it up to 8. I might bump it up to 8. And 8 is a decent enough starting place for a fighting game character roster. Most fighting games have like way more than that. I don't think very many of them go like the Dragon Ball route and incorporate like 36 characters. That option is there though. Are you ever going to write down the history in one of the Jamie Roberts' books? It's going to get sprinkled throughout the narrative, but I have considered doing zines of the history that's in Jamie Roberts. That's part of the reason why I do things like The Legend of Norsa, and coming soon, The Legend of Azumi. The Legend of Azumi is actually going to be talking a little bit about the dark magic history of Jamie Roberts, which is why it's taking me a hot minute to like script it. So for folks who want to get a behind the scenes peek about that, that's why. 8 to 12 starters. Yeah, working on it, getting there. I might have an inspiration in mind. Who are you thinking? Shout it out. Let me know. I'm eager to listen. I look forward to that. Oh, the history zines? Yes. And The Legend of Azumi? Yes. I'll give a little teaser now, because I know this character detail for sure is going to stay. Azumi is a baker. Like, that's her thing. She's going to be a big lady. She's going to be a baker. I know that. Right now, the story is leaning in the direction of, yeah, Azumi was a baker. She didn't really care about magic stuff, but then a Mokta appeared in her town, and at first she was like, nah, not my business. I'm not a magician. What do I know? And then something happens to one of her family members, and she's like, oh, well, it's my problem now. So she goes and confronts the dark force that has been plaguing the town, and then stuff happens. That's the outline that I have. There is a way to condense this into 6 pages, but I'm not going to try to force this into 6 pages unless the story's like, okay, this fits. Right now, the story can't comfortably tell itself in 6 pages, which is why it's still a work in progress. Mr. T as a boxer DLC just came to mind. You know what? You know what, though? Some kind of a blaxploitation reference or homage. Might as well. I would have to do more research on that, though. That's the thing about this fighting game roster that I have in mind is I would like to do more research. So there's going to be some research on the horizon. All right. It's 3 o'clock. It's about time that I wrap things up. Let's just zoom out here, save our progress, and then we're gonna stop sharing the screen. All right. So a couple quick announcements before I wrap it up the rest of the way. First, Dragon Baby Keychains available for pre-order now. They ship out after July 7th. If you would like to get a Dragon Baby Keychain, I'm doing a limited print run of these. But if you would like one, check out the link in the description. It's clearly marked. Sales from that will help go towards a new printer scanner machine. In fact, sales from my Ko-fi shop in general will help towards getting a new printer scanner machine. Ko-fi commissions will also help towards that. Or you can give through PayPal. Links to help contribute towards a new printer are going to be down in the description. If you would like to read my webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts, I talked a little bit about the history and some side stories connected to it. You can read that through the link in the description. It's about partway through chapter 5 right now. We just successfully funded volume 1 on Kickstarter. And volume 1 collects chapters 1 through 4. By the way, Kickstarter backers, watching live or on the replay, the PDF is available to download. Go to the Kickstarter page and look in updates. Because if I sent you the link directly, it's a little bit of a spoiler. But it's there. For folks who prefer to get it by email, I'm sending emails out as I get to you. Bear with me. Have some patience. I'm getting ready to send the files for the print book to the printer. Especially now that I have a Library of Congress calling card. Oh my God, The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 actually has Library of Congress information attached to it. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. So, getting all that together, talking with the printer, getting that squared away. One thing at a time. I'll bring up the available for pre-order Dragon Baby Keychain. I think that's all I have for now. Yeah, you can find me elsewhere online through the links in the description. I will be streaming again next week, unless plans change. If plans change, I'll announce it on social media and on my email newsletter. Other than that, I think that's it. Yeah, all I've got for now. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Jessica and Carlos and Ben and JD and Tim for hanging out in the chat with me. And thank you all for folks who are lurking, who did not comment. Yes, this has been fun as always. Thank you, Jessica. And wave to the Carlos. Everybody wave to Carlos. All right, that's all I got for now. This will be archived as a replay on YouTube and eventually on my website. I'm catching up on some archive posts on my website. That's it for now. Thank you all for watching. You are awesome. Bye now.